Urgent Commanders fan, look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest Commanders news, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Commanders coach reveals hidden big deal in free agency update. The Washington Commanders are coming off a successful first season under the new regime led by head coach Dan Quinn and Jayden Daniels. After winning 12 games plus 2 playoff outings and making it to the NFC Championship game, the Commanders' rebuild has been fast-tracked after a year that saw them go from NFL laughingstock to NFC power. However, that is one season, and the culture that Quinn and his core group of players have created will keep them in good shape moving forward. But for Quinn, he has noticed one thing when looking back on the year and this offseason that has stood out to him, and it shows that the franchise is in a good spot. One of the things that I did look back to see the amount of players that wanted to resign, Quinn said. I think it clearly demonstrated how much they love to play football together, and so that made me happy to know that so many players, the brotherhood they created together, that made me happy. I knew we were hitting in the right spot, that people wanted very badly to be back, and part of it, they sensed what it can be here. So to see those that many players want to be back, like that's a big deal. That is the sign of a great franchise. Players want to stay. With the Commanders no longer seen as the easy beats of the NFL, General Manager Adam Peters improved the roster with the trades for Laramie Tunsil and Deebo Samuel to give the offense some serious firepower. Yes, there are some issues defensively, but they can be addressed via the draft as the Commanders look to improve on what was a stellar year in 2024. But Quinn knows that what he is building here is on the right track after only 12 months, because players are now seeing Washington as a destination franchise, not one they scurry away from. And that's why it's a big deal for Quinn. Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest Commanders news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. Trey Hendrickson reignites Commanders' dreams with scathing attack on Bengals. Trey Hendrickson didn't hold back. The Washington Commanders have been incredibly active in the trade market this offseason. A notable development between Trey Hendrickson and the Cincinnati Bengals potentially burst the door open for Adam Peters to make another bold move. Washington needs a legitimate, game-changing pass rusher capable of causing consistent havoc. In opposing backfields, it's one of their last remaining weaknesses, with Peters opting to sign veterans to one-year deals and resigning underachievers like Clelin Ferrell rather than do anything too drastic. With only 5 selections during the 2025 NFL Draft, it'll be interesting to see how the general manager rectifies this complex complication. Hendrickson was strongly linked with a trade to the Commanders earlier this offseason. The All-Pro defensive end wants a new deal that hasn't arrived from the Bengals as yet. Most thought a compromise would be reached at some stage, but things are turning increasingly sour. Bengals Executive Vice President Katie Blackburn fanned the flames by stating, "Hendrickson should be happy with the money he's on or has been offered." This blatant disrespect provoked a response from the former third-round pick, who went on the Pat McAfee show to publicly air his grievances. And he didn't hold back. Trey Hendrickson's scathing criticism reignites Commanders' trade hopes. Hendrickson revealed that communication between the Bengals and his representatives has been limited at best. The player would like to stay and finish his career in Cincinnati. At the same time, frustrations are building as the Bengals continue to mismanage this situation after opting to prioritize extensions for Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Those comments from Katie Blackburn were definitely disappointing, and communication has been poor over the last couple of months. It's been a little bit frustrating, and if they have anything they'd like to discuss, we're definitely willing to listen. When I say that communication has been poor, I mean that it's been here and there. We don't have any desire to be the highest paid, and we've tried to be as patient as possible. 3 years ago, I began to ask for a long-term contract with guaranteed money. It was very confusing to read what I read yesterday. Trey Hendrickson via Stripe Hype. This might get Cincinnati to alter course and try harder to reach some common ground. It might also dig them into the trenches even more and prolong this already lengthy saga way into the offseason. In truth, it could go either way, but the Commanders should be watching developments closely. Peters doesn't have much draft capital to give up. He's also not going to get a better player with the number 29 pick or his second-round selection and make No mistake, the Commanders are firmly in winnow mode following trades for wide receiver Deebo Samuel Sr. and left tackle Laramie Tunsil. This is an intriguing development. Even so, the smart money is still on Hendrickson getting something worked out with the Bengals. Just when that'll be remains to be seen, but this latest turn of events doesn't indicate a successful resolution is on the immediate horizon. The Commanders might have enough to make this work if the Bengals become more receptive to offers. If they manage to pull off yet another trade, it would further strengthen their hopes of dethroning the Philadelphia Eagles next time around. Watch this, Space Commanders could get first-round value with Legacy CB in second round. The Washington Commanders need a cornerback to hold his own opposite veteran Marshon Lattimore in 2025. If the current group on the roster isn't up to the task, that means taking a cornerback in the upcoming 2025 NFL Draft. With a much more pressing need at edge rusher, that likely rules out the first round, not to mention the Commanders just picked cornerback Emmanuel Forbes at number 16 overall in the 2023 NFL Draft and released him after less than 2 seasons. That means finding the best value for a cornerback outside of the first round, which is no easy task. There's usually not a deep pool at the position who can step in and contribute right away in any given year, something the Commanders will ask any cornerback to do as Super Bowl contenders. The Commanders could luck out and benefit from a player's draft stock falling by taking Notre Dame cornerback Benjamin Morrison, who had first-round value before a hip injury cut short his season after 6 games in 2024. ESPN's Matt Miller put Morrison at the top of his list of prospects who could fill a need for the Commanders outside of the first round. Finding a big physical cornerback in round 2 is a chore, but Morrison could be available after suffering a hip injury in 2024, Miller wrote. He has the size 6 foot, 190 pounds to live at the line of scrimmage in press coverage. Morrison's father played for Washington in mid-1990s. Morrison is the son of former Washington safety Daryl Morrison, who played for the franchise from 1993 to 1996 and was a 6th-round pick, number 155 overall, out of the University of Arizona in the 1993 NFL Draft. Miller had Morrison projected to the Commanders in November 2024 before his draft stock dropped him out of the first round. The Commanders picked up veteran cornerback Marshon Lattimore at the trade deadline, but should continue to remake their secondary to fit coach Dan Quinn's schemes, especially with 3 of their current corners, Michael Davis, Benjamin Sitjust, and Noah Igbenogany, becoming free agents after the season. Miller wrote on November 21st, Morrison, my second-ranked CB, was sidelined for the season in mid-October because of a hip injury, but he has good size 6 foot, 196 pounds speed and instincts playing the ball, as evidenced by 9 interceptions over his first 2 seasons. Morrison earned ball hawk reputation with Notre Dame. Morrison, 6 foot and 190 pounds, starred in high school at Brophy, Arizona Prep, and became a starter at Notre Dame as a true freshman. Morrison led all Power 5 programs with 6 interceptions in 2022 and was a Thorpe Award semifinalist in 22-23 with 3 interceptions. Bleacher Report's Corey Giddings has Morrison projected as a late first, early second-round pick in his pre-draft profile. He also has him projected as a year 1 starter. His combination of smooth athleticism, versatility in coverage, and physicality in the run game makes him a well-rounded prospect capable of fitting into multiple defensive schemes, Giddings wrote. While he needs to improve his transitions and maintain discipline in zone coverage, Morrison's skill set offers a high ceiling. And now, Commanders fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for Commanders. I'll be back any moment with more Commanders news. We want Dallas.